morning and welcome to Radio Friends. This is Friday, December the 12th, and we've got one very interesting lady with us today, Melanie Knocke. Good to have you here, Melanie Knocke, Columbia Public Schools Planetarium at Rockbridge.
At Rockbridge.
And you really are an interesting lady to sit and talk with. You're fascinating, the information that you have. You actually head up the planetarium.
I do.
And you have a show.
We have a show tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It's our regular second Saturday of the month showing. We have a show at 2 o'clock and at 3 o'clock. Mm-hmm. The show at 2 o'clock is called Astronaut. Now, we've run it before. It's a fun show. It deals with how you become an astronaut, how to train to become an astronaut, and also it talks about the effects of outer space on the human body. And so why we can't just go up in space. You know, you need the oxygen to breathe. But it also talks about the fact that without gravity, your muscles aren't needed and your bones aren't needed. So they all start to go away and different things like that.
So you start to lose muscle tone,
You start to lose muscle tone.
Do the bones lose density?
The bones lose density. They start to dissolve because you don't need your bones to hold you up. Here on Earth, you need your bone structure to hold you up. You're fighting gravity all the time.
So what happens to the astronauts that are on the space station for a year at a time?
They have to exercise. I mean, it is religious. They have to exercise, and as much as like 2 hours a day. And they strap on, and you know, you can't run on a treadmill because on Earth, gravity holds you down to the treadmill.
Right.
So in space, there's no gravity to hold you down to the treadmill. So they literally strap on and force themselves to exercise.
They strap on resistance machines.
Exactly.
And will that keep the density of the bones going?
It helps, but nothing is perfect. I mean, nothing is as good as gravity on Earth. So you get the astronauts coming back after spending a year on the space station, and they can barely walk. So, you know, they'll have to go through rehab, and whether or not their bone density...
I've never thought about that.
Yeah. Whether their bone density...
They have to go through rehab.
Exactly, to have their body remember that, oh, this is what gravity feels like. We're so used to it.
So when they come back to Earth, they're not able to walk out on their own?
Sometimes no, especially the long-term ones. And lately, we've been using the Russians, and they land on the ground. We parachute down to a place in Kazakhstan, I think, and they pick them up, and they carry them in couches to the waiting cars to take them away. But yeah, it takes them a while. But the exercise does help. And
you will be covering all of this in the show.
All of this is covered within the show,
Let me ask you a question. The faster a body is traveling, is it not true that time slows down a bit?
It is true that time slows down. The faster you travel,
so
the
these
slower.
Astronauts that are circling the globe at such a high speed,
right.
Are they coming back a little bit younger than those of us who are on Earth?
That is a very good question. I do not think so. I think when you're talking about the time dilation, that effect usually doesn't take place until you're traveling extremely fast, like very, very close to the speed of light, which is 3 times 10 to the 8th meters per second. It's the fastest we can know. Well, nobody can ever travel the speed of light in the physics that we know of today. Nobody can travel the speed of light. But the realistic effects, you're really stretching me here, the realistic effects don't take place until you get very close to that speed of light. Astronauts in orbit around the Earth are not traveling anywhere close to that speed.
So maybe a second or two younger.
Maybe a millisecond or two younger, but not enough that we would notice by any means.
We got some pictures here that we want to show you. So if you'd like to see what we're talking about, go to kbia.org, click on Radio Friends, and watch the vodcast of this. And this first slide you have up is what?
This is just of our star ball. This is what we use to simulate the night sky. And it was a beautiful shot taken by Val Gurman, our unofficial planetarium photographer.
Oh, and he's so knowledgeable about everything.
Yeah, he is. So this is just a show inside the dome.
Okay, the next one that you have.
The next one I have is the Orion space capsule. Astronaut talks about how to become an astronaut and the effects of outer space on the human body. And I thought bringing the Orion space capsule into this was appropriate, given that Orion has been in the news a lot. Orion is NASA's next generation crewed launch vehicle. And they're in the process of testing that capsule. And we are going to have displays about the Orion capsule at the planetarium. It won't be in the show, but it'll be outside the dome.
Okay.
So we'll have some displays on that and explaining the Orion.
The next video, a picture is...
The next picture is Philae. Philae is the spacecraft that landed on the comet Churyumov. No, I know I'm going to mess it up. Churyumov-Gerasimenko.
Okay.
You
did better than I could have done. But we've seen this in the news and on television.
And that's an artist rendering. And if you want to go to the next slide, that spacecraft landed on this comet.
Now this is an actual photo.
That is an actual photograph
of the comet.
Churyumov-Gerasimenko.
That's just mind-boggling to think of how far away from us that comet is, and we're looking at a picture of it as clear as it is.
Yes. Well, that's because the spacecraft that took that picture was very close to that comet.
Yeah.
Extremely close to that comet. And actually, it sent that little rover Philae down and landed on that comet.
Yeah.
And that was big news. That's really exciting because it's the first time we've ever had a soft landing on the comet.
One more picture, I think.
This is also taken from Rosetta. This is a classic comet picture where you've got the dirty snowball, and you've got a jet in the middle there. You can see a jet of ice vaporizing from it. So it's a comet in action.
Okay.
And this ties into our second show, which
we're
is
almost out of time, by the way.
Yeah, 3 o'clock. We're having a show called Hubble Vision, and it's about Hubble Space Telescope, which discovered comets and all kinds of things. So these are 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, Sunday, December 13th. Check our website, cpsplanetarium.org. Be sure and check it because we might have weather issues. Last year we had to cancel our December show because of the snow, but just keep our website in mind, cpsplanetarium.org.
Okay. Melanie, thank you so much for coming by. It is a pleasure talking. We could do a whole hour special with you. You're so knowledgeable. Thank you so much, Melanie Knocke. And don't forget, tomorrow the show is at
2 o'clock and 3 o'clock.
2 o'clock and 3 o'clock.
That's
we appreciate it. And special thanks for Robbie to introducing us to Melanie. Monday, we've got Dave Moores on Columbia Water and Light. Our program directed by Travis McMillan, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio is Pat Akers from KBIA. Our floor director is Maya Jackson, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. And really, if you'd like to see the pictures we're talking about, go to kbia.org. Click on Radio Friends to watch the vodcast, and you can see everything. If you have something you'd like to hear or see on the air, drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. Bye-bye.